Postman Pearce announced that there is going to be a gauntlet match next week on Raw to determine the one person, thank goodness for that is going to challenge Gunther at WrestleMania. Before I run through the people, what a relief, by the way, it's a singles match.
Yes, and I must do this. Hold my hands up. I was very cynical about the potential outcome of the various teasers when there's a lot of wrestlers who want this Intercontinental title. I genuinely thought that they were going to do some complete cop-out of a like a six-pack challenge or something along those lines at WrestleMania, or ladders and Gunther. It's like, why? Yeah. Why would you want to do that? It's like giving a great workman a crap tool. But no, they are going for a one-on-one. They're just threading a pretty unpredictable way of getting there. There's at least two very likely winners. But no, I'm happy with this choice. And I shouldn't have doubted them.
There's the worry last week replaced by a much smaller worry, because I still think the match would be good. But because last year's Triple Threat was so successful, they might ignore the individual components of why that was so successful and not have to make the difficult choice of Sami Zayn or Chad Gable and go again with a workers three-way. I still think it would be class, but they're dealing with a very different hand than last year. Yes. So I just wonder if in their mind, they'd think, oh, that was unbelievable, so we can go again with that because it's Gable and Sami Zayn. Like with those are the last two and there's been an exhausting gauntlet or whatever. So I'd still rather a singles, and I'd just rather them be bold. Make a choice. Yes. And then whoever's won that has got the commitment of the booking and thus the conviction.
Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about this gauntlet, because you've got, like you say, you've got Sami Zayn, you've got Chad Gable, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bronson Reed, and JD McDonough. How would you plot it out then?
If you honestly like showing the courage of conviction going with a Chad Gable, because I think that's a gutsier decision than Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is amazing. People love him. I love him. But in WWE terms, he's a safe bet. He's fought for the world title before. He's at that level. Main event last year.
You could plug him in at any point after WrestleMania in any title picture and everybody would buy it.
We cannot pretend that it's Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. He is a safer bet in that spot and less of a gamble. So I have Gable go the whole distance. Sami Zayn as a mid-range point, giving him the hardest of the matches. And then possibly JD McDonough or Nakamura as the heel that's going to pick up the scraps at the end, who the Gable then beats anyway.
Okay.
Like, it's not, you don't beat Zayn last in that setting, I don't think, because the last thing you want is some fans in the building just earnestly rather than Zayn wins, and Gable's absolutely knackered and exhausted, and then Zayn's like lining him up for a lever kick. Like, that's where, like, you just want them to have a super competitive one, maybe match 3 for Gable. Okay. So Zayn lets him rest, gets him back to his feet, then it's a good clean fight. Gable's somehow gutted through, and then that's what I would do.
How do you see it going, Sige?
If it was up to me, I would have Sami Zayn open it, beat 2 people, Gable beats him, respectful handshake, and then Gable do the sweep beyond that. It would have to be, I think Gunther versus Chad Gable is just, we had Gunther versus Sami Zayn on Raw last year, correct?
Yeah.
And we had Chad Gable versus Gunther. One was significantly better than the other, and I love and very, very, very highly rate Sami Zayn. But I think it's Chad Gable's a better story. Sami Zayn has that quality where he'll be forever over. He's taken seriously. He's made where Chad Gable isn't, and I think you've got the chance to make someone else than Chad Gable's the guy to do it. The only argument in favour for me of pushing Sami Zayn is that people forget Roman Reigns has always been, well, since 2020, certainly a huge star, maybe even the deciding factor in the war. AEW was kind of getting ahead for 2 weeks, but Roman Reigns has been the centerpiece of that company and has, in part, in no small part, led it to the boom period. On top of a very good baseline number that Raw and SmackDown were doing, Sami Zayn heightened it ahead of Elimination Chamber last year. People are interested in seeing that man in a real starring role. So maybe the business case makes a lot more sense in the case of Sami Zayn. For my subjective tastes, it would be Chad Gable. I just think the guy's absolutely incredible and really deserves what Sami Zayn got last year, and that is that feature length incredible, unforgettable WrestleMania match. Chad Gable hasn't had it. He was awesome in the showcase as well. Yeah. He really I just think the man deserves it. You know what? He deserves more than that. This idea that you can have one great match at WrestleMania, and then that's you. Yeah. But why? He's so talented. He should be getting like loads and loads of profile. It would be Chad Gable for me. Can I tell you something?
Go on.
You asked us the question, and I answered it half-heartedly. You might have taken. I hate gauntlet matches. I hate gauntlet matches, and I'm almost worried about this one. Next week, is it?
Next week, yeah.
The WWE have on occasion really enjoyed doing these gauntlet matches because it's a lot of TV time to fill with not much work from the creative side of things. Obviously, the wrestlers are grafting. To what end? To what end? You know what struck me? We were talking about this around the desks in the office earlier, right? Can you remember, was it 2018, that Seth Rollins classic breakthrough moment when he worked for, what was it, an hour and a half or something?
3 years after he had the belt for like 6 months.
Yes, yes. Like that. How long was he in that ring for?
I want to say it was like 1 hour, pulling this out of my ass, 1 hour 28 maybe.
I'll say, because he's going to check up and we can't play the game. Yeah. Save your answer. You'll just change it. He's going to do it. That match and that angle, that vehicle for Seth Rollins, right, was forgotten about so quickly. At the time, if you recall, people were talking about it as if it was nothing short of one of the great individual performances in professional wrestling history. Yeah. This amazing Iron Man stint, this wonderful in-ring craftsmanship, how he got the crowd the entire time. I don't even think they were that loud. I thought it was just the longest Seth Rollins match of all time, personally, right? Think about this, right? That was so forgotten about as this classic moment. Like, the whole idea of a classic moment is that it's meant to endure forever. I don't think I have seen a single engagement count whose role it is, for some reason, is to farm the easiest likes of all time. Wilborn, do you know how stacked the WWE roster was in 2008? It was really stacked, wasn't it?
I've got a Cesaro hot tag to show you when we get back in the office.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Jesus. They don't even say, remember this, for easy likes. Because everyone...
Samoa Joe cooked with this.
Yeah. Everyone forgot about it. Yeah. It hasn't endured as this classic moment. So my worry is that they try and do that, and I have to endure myself people going on and on and on about this great gauntlet match on Raw.
You've seen this trend recently with the...
I'm dreading people's reaction to something that might be good.
The paid blue tickers have started putting full matches on X.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if somebody like...
They don't have the attention spans for that.
Can I look like an hour and a half gauntlet, please?
Like, when I get my blue tick account for the C tweet after WrestleMania, maybe I'll do that and see what engagement.
You said SummerSlam, so it's incorrect. What I'm driving at here is that they might take a long old time to deliver a good, popular outcome. Hamlet, you said earlier that it could be a draw between Sami Zayn and Chad Gable in the end.
Yeah.
Because those two characters have been the most outspoken, they've teased that they want to pursue gold around WrestleMania season. So maybe there could be some kind of draw in the works. And if you remember, Triple H loves a long match. That goes nowhere.
Yeah.
That was his entire career. As a wrestler and as a booker, 2020 NXT,
four-way,
that title had been vacated by Keith Lee, was it?
Yeah.
And they had to determine who the new champion was. I can't remember the exact specifics, but it was Gargano and it was Ciampa.
Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross.
Got injured straight away.
Yeah. So it was Gargano. It was Adam Cole.
Ciampa and
Balor. And the idea was it was one final beat, and I still had to watch Gargano and Ciampa wrestling the same match again. Yeah. They went an hour. It was the most naked star rating bait ever, and it didn't have a finish, and they had to go to next week.
Yeah, it was a draw.
So there's precedent for this sort of thing to happen. That was another one. Engagement accounts don't touch that, but at the time I had to read about how great it was.
The irony of those gauntlets, and I loved them for a little while, the best spot in all of those gauntlets ever had nothing to do with wrestling. It was that New Day one where the Usos were like, this is bigger than us.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really great bit of booking, but we had to watch like 20-hour-plus long matches for that
Yeah.
one spot. That was the only memorable thing from that entire glut of them.
So what are your guesses for Seth's performance?
I'll
time?
go 128.
I'm going to go with 122.
The whole match was 1 hour 47 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Do you remember who eliminated Seth?
So he beat
Cena.
Cena, didn't he? Mm-hmm. I was thinking Elias for some reason.
Bingo!
But I couldn't tell you who freaking won it because I don't think
I
Elias
can tell
won.
you. Do you remember who won?
I don't even know what the stakes were. What was on the line?
Best wrestler.
What was the story?
I think it was just a preview of the Elimination Chamber, maybe.
That's right. It was you got whoever won. I think got the last
Because it was
release of
7.
the pod. Yeah,
There was
yeah.
7 in the chamber.
Oh, so Braun probably won it then.
Braun won it. Yes,
God
correct.
damn. 1 hour 40 gauntlet for the big man to come out and win at the end. Brilliant.
Elias did eliminate him. Seth Rollins only went 65 minutes.
Lazy.
So I've won.
You shorter than
Lower,
him.
yeah.
So that was February
2018.
2018. So that was before Kenny went longer at Dominion. So Seth couldn't even do a copy of copies. Get it. Miss Kenny Omega, me.
I know. I'm thinking he's
I
going
was
to
thinking
come back.
about that a lot during the match during Revolution about how much I missed Kenny Omega.
We'll talk about it in the Dynamite preview.
Do I have to listen to this again?
I've already said I said to him in the office, I said, look, I'll be fair, it was better than Elimination Chamber. Can't say fairer than that, it was. I had to sit with it for a bit. I was like, no, it was.
Of course it was, you tit.
It was better than Chamber.
I think I'm hoping Chad Gable wins, as you said, Sige, because the way they've positioned both it's between Chad and Sammy. But for me, it's like Chad Gable. This is everything. It has to be the IC title match.
They'll find something for Sammy.
Sammy is if he loses this, the intriguing point is what the hell's he going to do at Mania? He was main event.
It's going to be a triple threat.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Could be goated as well.
Bronson Reed could be a great if Sammy gets eliminated earlier. Bronson Reed is a great final one-on-one.
I thought you were about to win.
Two concurrent underdog performances where you kind of, I don't know.
What's this? Gable's hitting this line a bit too hard for my liking. Actually, it means more.
Yes.
So like he's going to scream that in Sammy's face either in the Gauntlet next week or in the 3-way WrestleMania, isn't it?
Tell me they're going to do a monologue.
A monologue and then a German suplex.
Yeah.
All at once. He's monologuing while German. that slow one he does on Gunther. He's like cut a promo in his ear.
It means more.
That's a spot. You can have that one.